Oh. Howdy, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Let's tape it good. Oh, man, I've gotten a lot of mileage out of that intro. I can't believe I made that. uh, what an absurd level of commitment to this endeavor. This silly endeavor. I'm glad you all could be here this morning. I walked 10 miles yesterday, and my body, I think, is a little tired, and I slept in. I could tell you, man, I got real wasted last night, and I was hungover, and I didn't get out of bed. That's not true this morning. I got wasted on exercise. Hooray. I went out to a state park, and there's a mountain bike trail that you can hike. But it's deceptively long because it like switchbacks all over the place. And when I looked at all trails to see like what trail should I go on, it said that this mountain bike trail was like 5-6 miles. So I got a liter of water because that's like 2 hours to walk. But then it turned out they have little branching paths in the trail, and if you take the advanced track, it actually goes like way further. So it's 10 miles. It's a bike trail, so there's no place to sit down. They don't have benches or anything. So I drank all my water within an hour, and then I had to walk 3 hours nonstop with no water. That's my story. Let's watch tapes. How are you doing? I did not find any bear poop. I didn't see another human soul out there. I just saw some deer and some little froggy buddies. Oh, it's Dark Overlord's birthday? Is that so? Well, I'll be darned. Happy 72nd birthday to Dark Overlord.
As people get older, they tend to become more concerned about safety. This has certainly been true with me. And since I have already had my 72nd birthday, I am far more concerned about safety than most people.
Dark Overlord, happy birthday to you. I'm going to start us out with a short one from 1995. Don't know the exact length, but it's a pretty small amount of tape on that reel. So this is the Oster. Hey, Green Day, thank you for gifting a sub to Dark Overlord. The Oster Great Looks Video, step-by-step guide for professional results at home. Produce professional-looking haircuts at home. Step-by-step guide to 4 basic styles. Includes instruction for diverse hair types. A guide for all people. This video helps you learn to trim hair quickly and easily, whatever the age, gender, hair type, or race of the person whose hair you're cutting. No job is too large or too small. Excellent. We had a request for number 5. What is number 526? Oh, is it America at the Olympic Games? Yada yada. The Great Oh, yeah. Man, I remember the 96 Olympics. I went to one of the soccer games because it was not that far away from where I lived. Okay. I didn't know the Olympics were happening. I've heard Olympic-related things in the news. Not like I don't watch the evening news or anything, so I don't know what happens in the world anymore, and I'm okay with that. Here we go. Let's just kick it in to Oster hair grooming video. We'll go from there. Oster. Yeah, I remember hearing that. I also remember hearing about the movement to just have them in grease.
Welcome to the Oster home grooming video. For more than 60 years, Oster has designed
Because
and
it's actually
manufactured quality hair care products.
half
for
of the
both
time
home
really
and
bad for the host
professional.
city. They like go
During
bankrupt
that
building
time,
stadiums and stuff.
Thousands of people have discovered how easy and convenient it is to use Oster clippers for cutting and trimming hair right
Alabama.
in your own home. This video
Roll Tide.
demonstrates the hair
Tennessee
clipping
Volunteers,
for the
boo!
classic
What the hell kind of childhood bedroom is that?
the bob, and for keeping beards and mustaches neatly groomed. We'll teach you step by step
Emo child.
simple basic
Haircut done.
techniques that anyone can learn. You will also learn simple maintenance procedures to keep your Oster clipper running in peak condition. Even if you've never trimmed hair before, with just a little practice, you'll soon be cutting like a pro.
That kid looks very unsure.
First, let's become familiar with the equipment you'll be using. Your Oster hair clipper is easy to hold and fits comfortably in your hand. Some Oster clippers feature an adjustable blade. To adjust the length,
So
simply
apparently
turn the
it's-
lever on the side of the
It's
clipper.
Oster and not Oster.
Your Oster clipper set also comes with an assortment of guide combs that make hair
I
cutting
guess they do
safe
put
and
the bar
easy.
above the O.
Tapered combs
so
are
that you know
designed
it's a
for
long
trimming
O.
around the ear. To install a guide comb, use the blade guard that's supplied with your Oster clipper set. Slide the guide comb down over the blade. Make sure it's securely fastened. The guide comb allows you to cut the hair at a specific uniform length and guard against cutting the hair too short. Just remember, the smaller the guide comb, the shorter the cut. We suggest you use the largest guide comb until you become more comfortable with hair trimming techniques. Most Oster clipper sets also include shears for trimming hair and bangs, and a barber comb to help you trim and check for overall appearance. For your convenience, you may also want to have some additional items. A towel keeps hair off the neck and clothing. Have a spray bottle handy to dampen the hair before or during trimming. Finally, a brush will help you style the
Shelley.
hair. Here are some tips we'd like to pass on to make your hair trimming easier. First, go slow. There's no need to hurry, so cut at a pace that's comfortable for you. Second, cut small sections. Working on one small section at a time gives you more control over the cut. Third, comb and comb again. Combing regularly allows you to check what you've cut and make sure the hair is straight and even. And finally, relax.
Oh, it's
Cutting
like
hair is easy to learn.
weaved
It's just like any other
a
activity.
weaving owl.
The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Just be sure to read your Oster instruction sheet for safeguards and tips on using your Oster clipper. Today, Brad needs tapering in the back, a trim around the ears, and blending all around to an even length. Have your equipment ready in a working space with good lighting and plenty of room. Seat the person high enough so you don't have to bend or stoop. For best results, the hair should be clean and damp. Damp hair lies natural and is easier to control. Just use the spray bottle to dampen it slightly. Then, towel away any excess water. Comb the hair in its usual style. Now turn the clipper on and hold it so your wrist is free to maneuver the clipper up and down. Be sure you're using the largest guide comb. Begin at the back of the head. Use what we call an up and away technique. Simply draw the clipper up through the hair using the comb attachment as a guide. As you approach the rounded part of the head, curve the clipper away. This technique produces a longer cut, so the hair has a blended, tapered look.
Oh my God.
Slowly work your way around to the sides, combing often to check for length. When you reach the ear, simply let the guide comb glide around the curve of the ear.
That clipper is not touching any hair as she's doing this.
Continue using the same up and away technique for the sides above the ear and the back. When you're finished, it's time to trim the sideburns. Turn the clipper off and remove the guide comb. With the clipper turned upside down, gently trim the sideburns and the edge around the ear.
This is basically the kind of
Hold the ear
haircut
down when needed
I
to
had
keep
as
it
a
out of
boy,
the way.
and I did not
Tip
like
the
it.
head forward and use this same technique to clean up and trim the neckline. Now you're ready to cut
But
the
luckily
longer hair on top.
my mom took me to a
Starting
barber.
at the back, comb both the hair you've just trimmed and the untrimmed hair out away from the head. Hold
We
the
didn't-
two lengths with your
my mom didn't
fingers
have a ton of
at
money.
a 90-degree angle.
But she
and use
still
your fingers
decided
as
to
a
take us
cutting
to a
guide.
barber instead of buying an
Slowly
Oster
work
clipper
your
and
way
cutting our hair
trimming
herself.
the top of the head. To achieve a consistent length, it's always important to hold the fingers the same distance from the head. At first,
We always went to
suggest
this
that you
guy
draw
named
the
Tom
hair out
Jordan,
all the way to the end to avoid cutting
had
too
a,
short. Trim small sections at a time.
little barber shop
and comb often to catch any uneven spots.
that was he was very country. He had a deer ass mounted on the wall.
Repeat
And
this
he had the
technique
magazine
for the hair
rack
on
with
the
like the
side,
Playboys on the top,
blending it with the length on the top.
and it was all
The
old
final
men
step
in there
is to
every
trim
time
the
we went in.
bangs with shears. With the head held up straight and the eyes closed, comb the hair
But
forward.
I think he
and
was
use
really
the shears to trim at the
he
desired
was really nice to my mom. This was like
Remember
after
that
my parents
wet
got
hair
divorced, and
is
my mom was
longer
like,
than dry hair.
you know,
So make the cut a little longer.
dealing
than
with a lot of stuff
actually want.
financially, and I think he was
One
cool
final
to her.
snip, and Brad's
He would
trim
al-
is finished.
She would always
And
write
here's
him a
look
check.
at the final cut. Now that's a good-looking haircut. For older boys and teenagers like Derek, the fade is an especially popular style that's also easy to cut. Because Derek just needs a slight trim, we're using the Oster clipper without a guide comb for the closest possible cut. Beginning at the back, simply follow the contours of the head.
Oh no, this is
Slowly work
1995,
toward
and
the
the
Then,
the
let
stated
clipper
intent of this
glide
tape
around
is
the
to
curve
be
of the ear.
inclusive and
Above
provide
the ear,
instructions for all
follow
hair
the side
types.
of the head straight up to the top. Slowly work your way to the back.
So I think I'm taking it on good faith.
Use this same technique on the other side. If you want to create a fade look with gradually longer hair,
A fade seems much
just use larger
harder to
comb
do as an
attachments
amateur,
as you
though.
work your way toward the top of the head. To cut the top of the head, first use a comb or hair pick to raise the hair from the scalp for easier cutting. Determine the length you want to cut, then trim along a straight line to create an even look.
I got a really bad haircut from a professional barber.
Now you're ready to use an Oster trimmer to clean up the hairline on the neck, sides, and forehead.
So I would not
Just
want to
hold
go
it lightly
to
against the skin and pull down.
I don't know, just like a mom or
Trim
a
the back of
girlfriend
the neck
to get
in
my
the same
to get my
manner.
haircut.
You can also use your Oster trimmer to create a part or lines if desired. And here's the final look for Derek, who can use his Oster trimmer to touch up his hairstyle and keep it looking new.
Bow tied.
The busy schedules of today's young career professionals and college students like Karen call for a
I would
hairstyle
definitely
that's both
trust
easy
Deb
to
to
cut,
cut my hair.
and easy to maintain. The classic bob fits the bill perfectly. It's an up-to-date cut that never goes out of style. Begin by wetting the hair, then drying it with a towel until it is slightly damp.
I don't see a lot of
Comb the
young
hair
kids
until it
with
is
the bob
evenly
anymore.
distributed and falls naturally. You can also, if you wish, cut the hair dry. With the person seated comfortably, bend the head forward to begin at the back. The first cut is important because it will serve as your guide length for the rest of the cut. Just above the shoulders is the preferred length.
Oh,
But
whoops.
the bob can be cut to almost any length. So make sure
I
you
couldn't
know
make
what
up my
length is
mind
desired.
whether I wanted a ghost
Comb
or
the
a
hair
friend.
out and make the initial cut. Now use the hair you just trimmed as a cutting guide for the hair that lies on the neck. Slowly work your way across, combing and checking often for any uneven lengths. To cut the sides, simply tilt the head away from the side you are cutting. Comb out the hair and again use the previously cut hair
Oh,
as
like
a
a
guide
fishing
for the
bob, I
length.
guess?
Slowly work your way to the front. Then repeat
That's
this
a good
procedure
point.
on the
Why
other
are they doing this on a bed?
To cut the bangs, create two parts in the hair that extend from the very top
The
of
most
the head
confusing
to the
thing to
temple.
me is that there's a
This
pennant for
creates a
both
triangular shape.
the Alabama
Part
Crimson
the
Tide and the
triangle in
Tennessee
half.
Volunteers,
Comb one of the sections
because those teams are
forward
bitter rivals.
and trim the hair with shears to the desired length.
Like,
Now,
it's not
comb the other section
quite to the
forward
level of Alabama and Auburn,
and
but
trim to the same
it's the next
length.
biggest biggest
If the
rivalry.
hair is wet, cut it slightly longer
Alabama
than
fans
the
like
final
universally
desired
hate
look.
Tennessee.
Take time to check for any uneven spots. You may also want to cut the hair longer at the temples to create a softer line that frames the face. Finish up with a hairdryer and brush to add extra body to the hair. Now Karen has just the look she wants, a cut that gives her the versatility to wear her hair in a variety of styles. For light trimming between haircuts and for personal grooming of beards and mustaches, the Oster cordless trimmer is the perfect tool.
Slim
It's
trim.
lightweight, cordless, and easy to use. After combing the beard as straight as possible, begin by trimming along the jawline from the ear to the chin. Then trim up the area around the cheek.
It is, like, when I started growing a beard, figuring out how to groom
For
it was
mustaches,
a pain at
simply
first.
comb the hair down and trim along a straight edge.
But it requires less maintenance than maintaining a
for the
clean-shaven
finishing
face.
touch.
I'm so glad I don't have to shave my entire face every day.
Maintenance of your Oster clipper is simple and easy. After you finish trimming,
Yes, glop. Yes, I got a
hair
haircut.
from the blades. Then, simply apply the special oil that comes with your clipper set to one side of the blade. If the blade is not used for an extended period, simply re-oil the blade before using. With proper maintenance, your Oster clipper is designed to last a lifetime, and that can save you money. With the average haircut now costing around $15, a trip once a month to the barber adds up to $180 a year.
God,
By using an Oster
my
clipper
haircuts
set,
cost me
a family of four
$40
can
now.
save up to $720 a year. We hope this video has helped you become more comfortable and skilled with your precision Oster haircutting.
Also, yeah, I get a haircut
We
way
encourage you
too
to view this
infrequently.
video
I get a haircut
often
like once
and
every
practice
3
the
months.
techniques shown here. Once you become comfortable with your Oster clipper, it will take just a few minutes to give each family member or friend a great-looking haircut with your Oster hair clipper set. And remember, for all your home grooming needs, you can choose from the complete line of Oster hair cutting and personal care items. Oster, for more than 60 years, the leader in home grooming. and
15, I
personal
feel like it
care
was on the
products.
high end for 1995 too. Like they're estimating it high so they can exaggerate the value of the clipper. Because like one of the best places I ever got haircuts, one of my favorite barbers, was this little lady in Van Nuys. She's a little Mexican lady that loved the LA Lakers, and she she charged $14 for a fade, and she did an amazing job. And that was like 2014. But yeah, you gotta tip your barber. That's true. So I pay like 45 or 48 for a haircut. That was Oster. Great looks. Sorry, Oster. Great looks video. So The Olympics are going to be going on for a long time, right? There's no rush on Olympic tape. I have 3 tapes in front of me. I'm not going to tell you what they are, actually. I'm just going to make a poll with vague descriptions. Okay. Okay, so sorry, I gotta cook up descriptions for these tapes. Hey, Jace Book, 1,000 bits. Welcome to Beats to get a nice little haircut to, featuring Maria Martinez and her band performing "Feel the Rain." God, it's been so long since we've had a nice little Brazilian drum set interlude. Thank you, Jace. Let's crack on into that. Feel the rain. I have the poll thing. Oh, thank you. I have the poll dialogue pulled up. In your regional accent, do you say poll, P-U-L-L-L, and poll, P-O-L-L, differently? I wonder if that is or is becoming a pin-pen merger kind of thing. Because I say poll and pull slightly differently, but if I have morphed a little bit more southern, because your regional accent is like not a hard switch that's either on or off. Like, it comes out of you in different situations depending on how you're what mood you have or what people you're talking to. And if I go a little southern, it's the same. I got this poll pulled up. Hey! Wow, that lined up really well. 1,000 bits from Jess, who requests something chaotic to follow up those chill drum set vibes. What are we thinking for chaotic? What about a little Peter Gabriel? It's been so long. I was thinking big time. All right, let's do big time. Thank you, Marie Martinez and band and Jace Book. Here we have Big Time from Peter Gabriel. Except you want it chaotic, so we're watching this too. I've made a poll. It's a 5-minute poll, so take your time. But vote on the vibes of the tape you want to see. Hey, cake. All right, we got cake, too. I don't want bagel and kegel in the same sentence. It just makes me think of like picking up a bagel off the counter with my anus. This is Big Time.
Hi there. I'm on my way, I'm making it.
Yeah, Prego is a brand of sauce everywhere. Around here too, I mean.
So much larger than life. I'm gonna watch it grow
Okay, Quackman is leading the poll. In a distant second, we have Familiar Cartoon Boys.
the place where I come from.
And Boot Country is last.
Small town. They think so small. They use small words.
We got 3 minutes left, though. I need to go back and listen to We've heard most of the songs from from the CD music videotape, but I've yet to listen to it like as an album all the way through. I mentioned it in the Discord, but I listened to I.O., his 2023 album, and it's really good. He's still got it. And it's like collected from, he's been working on it since like the 90s. Like he started working on the material for I.O. like during the production of Us, his prior album. And my And
Well, why didn't you say so?
thank you to Green Day.
They've got cake!
Cake for Dark Overart's birthday.
Grab your dancing shoesies.
Do the elephants what to say?
Shake your tray caboose.
Everybody, we got cake. Nothing could be sweeter.
That cake had big band meter.
Raise your hands and move your feet. Or
Everybody, we got cake, cake. We got cake. Cake. We got cake. Cake. We got cake.
I googled We've Got Cake song. And there's somebody made a Reddit post 10 years ago on the subreddit Tip of My Tongue where you post like a thing you remember but can't remember the name of.
This pachyderm groove is smoking. This band's so hot, I'm soaking.
Everything was made of patchwork and fabricy looking textures. Anyways, there was a dog. He was brown, maybe, and at least two others.
For letting us have my
It was
party
someone's
here.
birthday and they had a cake all set, but something happens to it.
Quite a party
So they
after
set
all.
out on a journey
That
to
cake was
find a new one or something. This
absolutely
part's really hazy.
I, don't suppose I
Anyways,
could
nearing
take
the
the
end, they
recipe
end
for
up
my
on a
wife.
crazy minecart ride through a mountain. It spits them out into a well-furnished room with a fireplace and books and a bunch of elephants. All of the elephants are British, and they're wearing monocles and bowler hats, and they're all proper English gentlemen and whatnot. I think there are at least
What a
3 distinct colors
smashing
of plaid
idea.
elephants.
Are you ready to go then, chaps?
I'm ready.
Then the 3 friends from the start pull out a cake that they had, and the elephants are
Where's
shocked.
Patches?
Turns out they
I'm
love
right
cake
here.
immensely, and everybody
Now
starts
figured
singing and
we should
dancing.
wrap up
We
my
got
lesson
cake,
before
do
we
do
go.
do do do.
One
We
of
got
these
cake, do do do
pachyderms
do
got
do.
a
Those are the
whiff of
lyrics I
this
remember
hazelbush.
precisely.
We just spent the rest of my birthday on
Then it
the
zooms
moon.
out of the party and out of the mountain, and it fades out. And that's all I got. Every few months, our family will remember it, usually when there's cake, and try to find it online before giving up. Don't worry, somebody stepped up. 2 years ago, after this post had been on the subreddit for 8 months, or 8 years, to post a link to the video. We've got cake, do 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 do. All right, thank you all for the songs. Thank you for enjoying those with us. It is time to watch the winner of our poll. Our poll choices were Boot Country, Familiar Cartoon Boys, and Quackman. You have all selected Quackman. So get ready for Body, Mind, and Soul 2, The Mystery and the Magic with Deepak Chopra. This is thankfully rewound. Let's check out the. I gotta know what we're in for on this one. I have to read the description. Deep. Body, Mind, and Soul. The Mystery and the Magic features Dr. Deepak Chopra, the best-selling opera of Ageless Body, Timeless Mind, and several other books. Dr. Chopra is a physician trained in Western medicine and at the same time a learned practitioner of traditional Eastern Ayurvedic medicine. From his knowledge and training in both these disciplines, he has synthesized a holistic approach to wellness he calls quantum healing. In this video, Dr. Chopra urges us to discard our old notions and to stop thinking about the human body as a frozen anatomical structure, a paradigm he refers to as the superstition of materialism. Instead, he teaches that health is not the mere absence of disease, but indeed a state of vitality, of energy, of creativity, ultimately a higher state of consciousness. I'm like, because he's a quack. Like, I'm all for re-examining the ethnocentric, like, classical, restrictive models of
Dr. Deepak
medicine
Chopra,
and so on.
a world-renowned leader in the
I'm
field
all for
of
incorporating,
medicine.
you know,
After teaching at Tufts and Boston University schools of medicine, he was
other
chief of staff at
perspectives.
New England Memorial Hospital, a best-selling author of 12 books.
But I'm pretty sure this guy, like, you know,
quantum healing. He's the
is just
executive
getting
director of the
rich
Institute of Mind-Body Medicine in San Diego,
by spouting
California.
bullshit.
In the last session, I think
that's
I
his
gave
deal.
you a reasonable hypothesis to understand the body, mind, and the environment as a continuum. I thought we covered enough evidence to see that that, in fact, is a good probability that
we do have quantum healing
have between the body, the mind, and the environment as separate things is really an artificial one created by the interpretation of our perceptual experiences. That, in fact, these are all part of one network of energy and information that comes into existence from a field that is a priori, that is even before this continuum of energy and information. And that it is possible for human consciousness to even experience this reality, to have the experience of what is known as unity consciousness, where the observer and the observed become one, where the seer and the scenery become one. And this has frequently been referred to in spiritual traditions as the experience of love. Love not as a mere emotion, love not as a mere sentiment, but love as the ultimate truth at the heart of creation. Love as the experience of unity consciousness. Tagore, that great Indian poet whom I quoted last time, once said, "When I feel beauty, I know it as truth." And what is beauty?
Ooh, yeah, this is prime.
Love at the
Look
heart
up the
of
presenter
creation.
on Wikipedia.
This continuum of no separation. That even time, in fact, or the experience of time, is similarly self-engendered, because in reality, there is only eternity. Time is a perceptual experience. If you read Stephen Hawking's book, A Brief History of Time, and you read the introduction to that book by Carl Sagan, there's an extraordinary statement in that introduction.
An Indian-American author, New Age guru, and alternative medicine
to
advocate.
understand the mind of God.
A prominent figure in the New Age movement, his books and videos have made him one of the best-known and wealthiest figures in alternative medicine.
Scientist who was audacious enough to make a similar statement. Albert Einstein once said, "I want to know God's thoughts. The rest are details." So what kind of conclusion does he come to when he sets out to understand the mind of God? He says, we live in a universe that has no beginning in time, that has no ending in time, that has no edges in space, and nothing for a creator to do. Now, please try and conceptualize that, and please try and visualize that. Please try and imagine that, and you'll find it's totally and utterly and completely impossible. How can you conceptualize or visualize something that never began?
Well, I love Psychic Duck.
Scientists use the word Big Bang.
I would trust Psychic Duck.
In the first 3 minutes to postulate that the universe had a beginning, at least in space and time. But the fact is, you can't visualize that. It's non-visualizable. And the moment you compromise and say, perhaps there was a beginning, then of course your immediate dilemma is, if there was a beginning, what was there before the beginning? If there's an ending to this universe, then your immediate dilemma is, what's there after the ending? If there are edges in space, then what's there after the outermost edge? It turns out that quantum physics is not only stranger than we think it is, it's stranger
There's
than
a lot of the
think.
criticism
At
that I
least
read
the way
about
we can
Deepak
think
Chopra in the last 5 minutes
the way we can think
centers on
in
his
this
misuse of
verbally
scientific
elite language
terminology.
of ours. But of course not in the mathematical language, which seems to
Like
be
that.
the
That's the
language of
biggest
nature.
red flag that makes this kind of
Mathematics
woo
is the
and
language
quackery,
of nature.
is that he's
But
like talking about
mathematics,
quantum mechanics and
equations,
stuff
of course, always takes into account
without understanding quantum mechanics.
infinity, which are non-conceptualizable.
Like quantum is just like a mystical sounding thing that gives you scientific credibility.
So
that you can throw around randomly, because your audience doesn't know quantum mechanics either. No one knows quantum mechanics except for like 15 dudes
our personal experience of time
who have spent their
is a
entire
result
life
of our
researching
own
it.
internal dialogue. A few years ago, I was traveling in Germany, and a physician friend of mine drew my attention to a news report. It was about 7 miners that had been trapped in a mine. And they knew that they had very limited amount of time because they had limited access to oxygen. And only one of the miners had a watch. And in order to allay the anxieties of the others, every time 2 hours went by, he would call out 1 hour. At the end of the week, they were all rescued, and they were all alive, except for the fellow who was calling out the time. He had
he died.
Their subjective experience of time. But of course, he measured his own experience by looking at a watch, even though he had the rest of them change their subjective experience of time. Time is a subjective experience, and you cannot measure subjective experiences. A great English physicist, Sir Arthur Eddington, he said, trying to measure a subjective experience is like trying to figure out the square root of a sonnet. You can't do it.
Yeah,
you cannot do it.
I'm somewhat open to
objective correlates.
kooky
Time,
alternative stuff like this,
feelings,
but the
emotions,
minute someone
desires,
like
these all occur
intentionally or not has the effect of causing like someone with cancer to just be
So
like, I'll just use my energy crystals instead of getting treatment.
So far, I'd like to
they have
go
blood on
over
their
a few
hands, and I hate them.
And let's see if we can look at these a little carefully. The physical world, including our bodies, is actually a response of the observer. Intrinsically, it's a radically ambiguous and ceaselessly flowing quantum soup.
Yes, of course. I'm going to skip ahead a bit. Yeah. I just want to see where we go with this, and then we'll be done. Let's go up to 20 minutes and just see if it's the same thing. I hate these lecture tapes, man. The seminars, they don't even have like cool graphics or music or anything. Bullshit.
And as he was doing so, the patient's arm started going up like this, and Dr. Penfield asked the patient, what's happening? The patient said, my arm is moving up. And Dr. Penfield asked the patient, are you moving the arm? He said, no, you're moving it for me by stimulating the brain. And then actually what the patient did was he reached out with his other arm and prevented the arm from moving, even though Dr. Penfield was stimulating the brain. And Dr. Penfield wondered to himself, he said, the brain is telling the body to move, but there's somebody that's telling the brain, I won't let you do it. Who's this choice maker, and where's this choice maker? You and I are essentially interpreters and choice makers. In every moment of our existence, we're making interpretations and we're making choices. We are the thinker of the thought. We are not the thought. And if you're sitting out there and you're saying, I doubt everything that you're saying, I don't believe any of this, then that's who you are, the doubter. As long as there's a doubt, it implies the existence of a doubter.
Well, like, so I'm a little bit into like Eastern philosophy and stuff. Like, one of my favorite people to watch on YouTube is Yongye Mingyur Rinpoche, the Tibetan monk. And he's got good, good stuff. It's like a pure distillation of an ancient tradition that in the West we've been like less exposed to, and it's some interesting stuff. I prefer to get that kind of thing, that kind of perspective from from like a monk than from a dude who's in a suit who's like trying to legitimize it to make money selling books, trying to give it like a sheen of Western medicine, Western scholarship. I feel like there's a place for both of those things, and we don't have to like hybridize them into one person who becomes a cult figurehead. Anyway, that was Quackman. Body, Mind, and Soul, The Mystery and the Magic. Volume 2. Got that one off the shelf. Thank you. Attempted to intervene. Charges $25,000 per lecture performance. Yeah. Metaphorically described the AIDS virus as emitting a sound that lures the DNA to its destruction. AIDS can be treated, according to Chopra, with Ayurveda's primordial sound. Yeah, that's, it's just straight up trashy and classless and evil to, seize upon, like, real things, real horrible things that are happening on a grand human scale to people. And then being like, if I say this bullshit, I'll make a lot of money off of it. All right. For our next tape, the cat is out of the bag now, so I'll just show you. It can be a 24-minute Tom Sawyer or what? A 50-minute Rome City travel guide. Oh, that's what the Rush references were about when we watched Tom Sawyer. Because they have that song with the drums. Everyone wants Rome. All right. A couple people want Tom Sawyer, but we're getting overwhelmingly votes for Rome. So let's see. Which is funny because Boot Country did not. Boot Country lost the poll. You all wanted Familiar Cartoon Boys. Rome. Rome. The Pilot Guide to Rome. Rome. The Pilot Guide to Rome. City Guide. Travel and experience the world. The ultimate travel guide as seen on TV. Globe Trekker. Situated halfway down Italy's western coast, Rome is a vast city with an historic heart. Once only a few villages, Rome became the greatest city of the ancient world. There are now entire countries that owe their calendar, law, and language to Rome. Traveler Estelle Bingham starts her exploration of the city at the Forum, the hub of ancient Rome. From there, she visits Michelangelo's beautiful Piazza Campidoglio, then moves on to stroll through the charming Trastevere. She completes her tour at the Pantheon, one of Rome's great ancient buildings, and the resting place of Raphael. Along the way, learn how to make Roman pizza, kickstart the day with some real Italian coffee. View the greatest private art collection in Europe at the Villa Borghese. Take a tour of Vatican City, the smallest state in the world, and attend a service with the Pope. Ooh. Oh. That's right. I think we have a duck tape of actual ducks. This is one where the flapper fell off. So there's a little bit here. Does this come off? It probably should, so it doesn't get stuck in the VCR. Oh, there's a little spring on there. Okay. Well, anyway. This will be fine. I'm pretty sure. This is indeed a Globe Tracker video. The Pilot Guide to Ducks. Here we go. Come on, VCR. The little flappy boy is just to protect the tape. When you put the tape in the VCR lifts this thing up and lets the tape come out. And if it's not there, it just isn't there. And the thing still works, as far as I know. This is from when? Probably like the early 2000s, because it's got a website address. It's pretty, the graphic design looks pretty like 2000.
Funding for this program is provided by Subaru. Just a friendly reminder that the road less traveled is probably not paved. Full-time all-wheel drive for full-time adventure. Subaru, proud sponsor of Globe Trekker.
You wanted Paul Hogan? I wanted like a very lesbian coded Subaru commercial. Oh, this is a great intro. Hey, Amaya has won bingo. I am not familiar with this Globetrotter program.
When this place was just a few villages and
that's a
farms
close-up.
on 7 small hills. Well, it's come a long way since its humble beginnings. There are countries, entire continents, that owe their language, laws, calendar and faith to Rome!
I have given points to Amaya. Yeah, to Rome!
Italy is the leg hanging off the bottom of Europe. Scratch your knee and you find Rome halfway up the leg. Rome sits on 7 ancient hills and spans the river Tiber. To the east lies the ancient heart of Rome. To the west, the Vatican.
I did not activate the tape. Activate the tape. I love this didgeridoo in the background. Or whatever the thing is.
There are 3.5 million Romans, some 7% of the Italian population. But the city is so popular with tourists that 20 million people visit every year.
It was probably the Subaru sponsorship that made them give it an Australian flair.
Uh-oh. Here come the touts selling hotels and hostels.
Hey, you're looking for a cheap hotel? Nice place to stay?
Well, I am.
Beautiful, beautiful. You can't imagine. A lot of nice people.
I'm sure I meet nice people, but what about, the goods? Are the beds good?
No, it's the best in town. You can go there, no curfew at all. And you go, they speak English very well. It's fun. You can stay at night.
How close is it?
Oh, just around the corner.
Really?
Yeah, just
How many minutes around the corner?
1 second. Just turn that corner on the right, and after 5 minutes you're there.
Okay, so 1 second turned into 5 minutes.
No, 5 minutes. 5 meters. 10 meters on your right.
5 meters. Okay, it's called Faulty Towers, and I'm gonna.
Beautiful boys there, huh?
A lot of beautiful boys. I think that's the way I'm going. Heading over here.
Best bet for you by yourself would be a dorm.
How much is that?
€35,000 per night.
That's about $15. That sounds good to me. Okay. I'll go for that.
Did she say €35,000 per night? That's not $15.
The Faulty Towers has a great TV area, its very own cooking area, and this balcony where apparently all the action happens later. And Basil himself might be making an appearance. Well, this is a pretty cool dorm. When she was mentioning dorms, I thought bunk beds and quite a dodgy night's sleep.
Let's do something.
But this is really clean.
Give me a donut.
And quite 5-star as far as I'm concerned. Rome is a great city to get around. It's got a brilliant underground and bus service. But everything's so close that I reckon the best way to do it is by foot.
Not the old-fashioned.
Right now, I'm off to what was known as the engine of the empire, the Forum.
Sorry.
Before going into the Forum, you should take a look at these massive stone maps on the walls outside, showing the extent of the Roman Empire. Over 700 years, Rome grew to encompass most of Europe, Asia Minor, and all North Africa. And it was all controlled from here. Rome was the centre of the empire, and this, the Forum, was downtown. The Romans started out by building temples, then markets which got pushed out to make way for civic buildings, basilicas and triumphant monuments, celebrating their great victories as their empire expanded. We're on the sacred way, the Via Sacra, and I'm entering the Forum through the Arch of Titus, which is actually the oldest triumphal arch in Rome.
I usually go for rye when I'm ordering a whiskey drink.
It celebrates the victory of the Romans over the Jews a few years after Christ died.
Rye because it's what they were
Right inside
making
the curve
cocktails
of the arch,
of
you can see the victorious Romans
in the
carrying off their
1800s,
war booty,
and that appeals
the
to me.
menorah and silver trumpets.
The kind of like
This is the Temple of Vesta,
historical
where
nerd
the
I am.
6 Vestal virgins hung out. Their main job was to keep the eternal flame alight, which was actually an elaborate ritual because everyone believed that if the flame went out, disaster would befall their beloved Rome. Now, if you happen to be having a bit of an off day and let the flame go out, you'd have a mild public whipping. If you lost your virginity, you'd get buried alive. And if you got raped, the culprit would get flogged to death here in the Forum. There's so much
Wow.
stuff here that you could literally explore for days. Like
So
this
the
place
Romans
is the Temple
had
of
sensible
Julius,
exceptions
where
to their
Julius Caesar
laws
was
for
cremated after his assassination. The mourning Romans kept the funeral
that
pyre alive
punished
for a whole week.
the perpetrator instead of the victim.
To this day, people are paying tribute to Caesar with love letters, poems, and even flowers. As a traveller, it's dead easy getting started early in Rome because you can get a kickstart from any cafe in town.
Espresso, lungo, cappuccino,
Okay.
caffè latte.
There's a lot of coffee and a lot of action. Okay, what's this? Cappuccino?
Cappuccino, espresso,
Yeah.
lungo.
I'm going to start. You can like see that I've got to get through all of this coffee.
That's a lot of coffee.
Panna, which is a speciality of this place with cream.
Affogato.
Ice cream. Chocolate
Affogato.
ice. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I've
Who
obviously
drinks
got
an
to think about
affogato in the morning?
So I'm going for the one with the chocolate ice cream.
I love me a good affogato, but as a dessert.
That's good. It's a baby latte. This is a grande espresso.
Oh, she said espresso. You're in Italy. Don't say espresso in Italy, of all places.
Some alcohol. These are all the little things that help you get it down, basically. Definitely sit at the bar and drink a few of these. This is a latte. Miss Hyperactive does Rome. And to end with a cappuccino, although I'm still kind of like quite into this one. Yeah, that's the one with the alcohol. Coffee in Italy is obviously something you've got to do. It's like,
Speaking of coffee, I have to go make myself a cup of coffee.
can I have more alcohol in that one?
I will be back in a moment. I'll be in chat with you enjoying
You can
Rome.
buy bus tickets everywhere, newsagent stations and these little kiosks that are on every street corner. Can I have un biglietto, por favor? Yeah. Cool, thank you. Grazie. Not only is this ticket valid on buses, but you can use it on the underground and the trams. And it's this simple. You validate it by putting it in one of these, and you can use it for 90 minutes. I'm going to the heart of Renaissance Rome, to the beautiful Piazza del Campidoglio, designed by that genius, Michelangelo. The Piazza del Campidoglio is in the centre of Rome, right next to the Forum. Michelangelo, what a don. This guy really was Mr. Renaissance. Not only was he a bit of a dab hand at the old painting, but he was a great sculptor and a fantastic architect too. The Piazza del Campidoglio was one of the jewels in his crown. In mountain villages, they lay rope across the paths to help the animals get up the hilly slopes. And Michelangelo actually copied that design. So these steps might be a work of art, but donkeys were his inspiration. It's like a time machine. You're transported first back to Michelangelo's Renaissance, then to ancient Rome, as this open-air museum of Roman sculpture gradually emerges. Some people think this statue looks a bit like Princess Diana. Bizarre, no? And look at his head. Still got a bit of the eggshell from which he was born after the god Zeus in the form of a swan ravished his mum, Leda. You can see why some people call it the most perfect public space ever built. The piazza's dominated by this massive statue of Marcus Aurelius, who was a Roman emperor remembered for being a great warrior and philosopher. The original is actually in the museum because it was being trashed by pollution, weather, and that great destroyer of monuments around the world, pigeon poo. So I think it's time to check out the real deal inside. This baby's the original. This museum has one of the oldest and most impressive collections of ancient sculpture anywhere in the world. And the prized possession, the one you just can't miss, is the Capitoline Venus. She's depicted here as having a ritual bath, you can tell by this free-flowing robe and the jug. And she's coyly doing this because she doesn't want anyone to see anything, but let's face it, Venus is obviously a bit of an exhibitionist. Top tip, hang on to your ticket because it gets you into the second museum for free. How odd is this? A massive she-wolf with udders suckling two baby boys. Well, they're actually Romulus and Remus, and allegedly they were the founders of Rome. The twins' mom was a Vestal virgin and their dad the god Mars. The brothers were tucked into a basket just like Moses was and set adrift on the Tiber. The she-wolf suckled them until a kindly shepherd took them home. All this talk about suckling, time for some food. They've been eating pizzas in Italy since Roman times, but in Naples, not Rome. Hold like this. Pizza's only got to Rome 30 years ago. That's cool, right? Look at that. That's not bad. That was good, right? Apart from the fact that I made a little hole there.
Vuoi mettere il forno?
Sì.
Mozzarella.
Just sprinkle. So just like this. Like this.
Prosciutto.
Prosciutto. Okay.
Piano.
Yeah?
Vai, brava.
Oh, oh.
Tira.
Hey. Whoops. Okay.
Forno.
Whoops. It's big, isn't it?
Piano.
See?
Già fatta.
We make a good team, right?
Bella Stella.
Yeah, Bella Stella.
Piano.
And yet be gentle.
Pizza volante.
This pizza restaurant, Cucina Romana, is in Trastevere.
Bravo.
What a monument.
Niente male.
Okay.
Buon appetito.
I love the taste of my own pizza. After a lunch like that, chill out. Stroll. Trastevere is a short walk from the centre of Rome, just across a river on the west bank. And it's one of the prettiest parts of Rome. Check out the churches you come across and you'll find some real treasures. Tucked away in the corner of this piazza, with a building site on one side, is the oldest church in Rome. It's dedicated to the Virgin Mary, the Byzantine Santa Maria. The original church was built in the 4th century by Pope Julius I and then rebuilt in the 12th century. This is the only medieval church to survive in Rome. The Romans were always nicking bronze or marble or columns from other places, and the 21 granite pillars in this church were taken from the baths of Caracalla. Almost everything was stripped from those famous baths across the river, and little remains of that place compared to this. The church also has some of the finest medieval mosaics in all of Rome. Mosaics were the main decoration of medieval churches. This church has the most incredible atmosphere. It's so peaceful here. And these mosaics are so stunning. They're just perfectly intact. Above me, you can see the mosaics depict the most important moments in the life of the Virgin. If you walk back to the hostel along the river, you'll see just how stunning Rome can be at night. Today I'm off to see the Pope at St. Peter's. All around the piazza are shops selling religious souvenirs to pilgrims, including special certificates blessed by the Pope. You can buy anything in there with the Pope on it, but I've plumped for a lolly Pope. There it is, endorsed by the Pope himself, in case you get a bit peckish during Mass. I might save that till later though. I'm coming into St. Peter's from the side, along this special colonnade built so the rich could ride to church in their carriages and stay nice and dry. It's a spectacular square, and it's massive. You can fit 300,000 in here, easy. If you stand right here, then the columns, actually 4 deep, look like one. And on top of the columns, there are 140 saints. Hold on, now we've got the Mass. This is the best attended church service I've ever been to. It happens every Sunday, and there are thousands of people from all over the world in this piazza and in that church. And the vibe, the feeling, the energy is just electric. This is amazing. Being in the centre of this crowd, there must be about 5,000 people here. And these priests have just come out of the church.
It's so moving. Actually, I'm not a Christian, I'm just Buddhist.
Very inspiring, but very sad to see the Pope.
In his condition, when he was so robust before.
We saw him in New York in 1979, and he was a giant of a man physically. To see him even forcing himself to do what he's doing today.
You just know that he feels as though that he must do this.
I think you can brief the history of very ancient time, and this is what makes you think that we are living in a very, very big world.
The priests and nuns in Rome are as stylish as a city. There's an entire street devoted just to clerical garb. styles are changing. Don't think if you're an Italian priest, you simply don a black cassock, nor a habit if you're a nun. I'll show you what I mean. This unassuming little shop is actually where you'll find all the latest in nuns' fashion. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, come sta?
Va bene.
Va bene.
How do I look?
Bene, molto bene.
Molto bene?
Bene, sì,
Okay.
senz'altro.
But what I'm actually looking for is your Il Più Venduto, the bestseller.
Adesso questo vestito è così, ha una piega.
That's your bestseller.
E anche dietro ha delle pieghe.
It's still quite dull, isn't it? It's not so great. I think we'll look for the maybe the moda juvenile.
Sì, dunque, come
Young
cosa nuova
people's
abbiamo questo
outfits.
completo.
So this is what the young people wear.
Sì. Le nuove suore sono vestite con una gonna, questa maglia e delle magliette.
This is funky nuns, and what they're going for these days is a two-piece rather than the whole kind of, you know, cassock wearing scenario. And apparently they wear it missionary.
Oh, senz'altro questo, per le missioni sia come colore, come praticità e come cotone.
This is what the missionaries wear.
Sì.
It's very light, apparently, so, you know, it's good for underarm heat situation. Fantastico!
Bene.
Yeah, but what I think I've decided is that I'm actually going to hang on to this outfit. Because the kind of, I'm getting quite a lot of smiles from people, you know? So
Sì.
I'll see you around. Okay.
Ok.
Hi! How do you think I look?
You look too beautiful to be a nun.
Oh, that's so nice. Don't you think I look innocent though?
Yes.
Yeah?
But you're still too beautiful to be a nun.
I really like this man.
I died inside a little bit when I heard her say, "Fantastico."
It's as though Italians worship at the altar of style and design. It doesn't seem to matter if it's clothing or bottles or even lighting fixtures.
We just had the Catholicism segment. They worship at the altar of the Catholic Church.
Is exquisite down to the smallest detail. And if you want style on legs, then come on down the street with me. The police in Rome wear Gucci sunglasses and uniforms designed by Giorgio Armani, which says quite a lot for how well this nation is actually dressed. And the place to people watch, which is a very big pastime here, is the Spanish Steps. Two girls coming up the stairs now are classic Italian chicks doing the denim thing. So those two look quite dubious, sitting in their very well manicured suits. I wonder who they work for. That's a typical older man in Italy look. A sophisticated stroll.
I like this presenter, but you can tell that she is not equipped.
It's goatee there.
There's
Not sure about
what?
the hairgel, though.
Kim Kenji. Oh, usually it gets misspelled animal names. You can tell she knows nothing about Italy. Like, they've not really given her much research
Right next to the
time.
Spanish Steps is the Pink House, where the famous romantic poet John Keats died. You can actually stay here if you book months in advance. The Landmark Trust in Britain runs it. Next floor down is the Keats Museum. There I meet the poet Stuart Homan, who told me how Keats died.
He was suffering from consumption, in other words TB, and his doctor thought that the warm Roman climate would do him good.
So did Keats actually die of consumption?
Well, according to his friend Byron, he died of a broken heart.
Did he really?
He did, because he had a very, very bad review in something called the Literary Quarterly.
Is that what this is? This brown
Yeah,
book?
that's it. That is the Literary Quarterly.
This is the damning
Maybe
review.
this was
He
the
got a bad review and that killed him.
And in fact, Byron wrote a little ditty which was, "Who killed John Keats? I," said the Quarterly, savage and Tartary. It was one of my feats.
That's incredible. You don't get depressed, do you?
With all this pasta, with the sunshine, with all these books.
What a wild question out of nowhere.
Well, that's a bit of a relief, isn't it?
You don't get depressed, do you? Hey, chat, you don't get depressed, do you?
My first trip out of the city is to Anzio. It costs $4 to get there and it's a really easy journey. Hop on the underground and then catch a bus. From the underground to EUR Fermi, it's a 30-mile straight shot south to the beach at Anzio. In an hour, you'll be walking along its clean, gently sloping beaches. Anzio was to become the site of one of the most important landings in the Second World War. Down south, the Allied troops were having real problems getting past those German
I made
lines.
a poll for you.
So they decided a bit of a sneaky move was in order. They came up round the back and landed here in Anzio. As a tactical manoeuvre, it was a major result. The Germans were taken completely by surprise, and the operation was a massive success. The Allied troops were met by locals who'd been kicked out of their homes in Anzio by the Germans and were living in caves like this. Ennio Silvestri moved into this cave with his family, where he made charcoal to earn a living.
All the people came out crying, "Oh, meno male, viva, viva."
And how many people were in the caves?
About 50.
50 people?
Yeah.
The Anzio landing saw some of the most bitter fighting of the Second World War. In just 4 months, the Allied troops saw 29,200 casualties, and 2,213 of the dead lie buried here. There are 4 other cemeteries that line the road from Anzio to Campo di Carne, the field of flesh. The Allied landing at Anzio made such an impact on the course of the war in Italy that local resident Amerigo Salvini decided to
Please get your votes in for this poll, if you haven't yet. It's a very important poll. To this day, fishermen are pulling up relics from the battle dropped by the Allies in the sea off Anzio. Amerigo, why did you create this place?
We have created this museum to thank the American and the British soldiers that fought here for our freedom and for free Italy.
Spending the day in Anzio has been such an eye-opener for me, because it's given me a chance
it's a donut.
to see
Thank you so much.
how all of these boys from
Hey, you don't get
all over
depressed,
the
do you?
world, America and the Allied lands, came to this tiny little place and were just so brave. And this beautifully kept museum
I made a poll.
gives you a chance to just see into their lives for a moment. And it's just incredible.
The guy at the William Keats
So many people
Museum.
died here. Some had families, and others were just unnamed soldiers.
He just loves Keats. If you wanna never be depressed, just love
It's
Keats.
really moving.
Wear books. Read books by Keats. Oh.
Back in Rome, I'm spending a day seeing Baroque treasures. The Baroque period was an amazing artistic era 300 years ago. I'm starting the day in the Piazza Navona, then onto a bridge before ending up in the Villa Borghese. In 86 AD, this place was built as a stadium to house 30,000 people, and there were jousts held here till the 15th century, when it was covered over to become a market, and then it became a piazza, which is the way you'll find it today. The central focus of the square is a magnificent fountain created by one of the greatest sculptors in Rome's history.
After the Renaissance came the Baroque era, and one of the recognised geniuses at that time was a guy called Bernini. This is one of his masterpieces. It's called The Fountain of the Four Rivers.
This is the River Ganges. Here's the South American River Plate, the European River Danube, and the fourth one, the Nile.
Bernini was a very jealous boy. In fact, he'd go positively green at the mere mention of his arch rival,
Borromini. Borromini created the superb facade of St. Agnes in Agni, right in front of Bernini's fountain. As an expression of contempt for his rival, it looks like every figure in Bernini's fountain is either turning his back on the beautiful church facade or holding up his hand in horror.
I'm sorry, that shot made it look like he's shooting diarrhea.
He made the fountain before the church was built.
I'm sorry. I felt compelled to mention what came up in my brain.
There are echoes of Bernini throughout the city, but my favourite place, the place you've definitely got to come to, is this bridge full of angels. Each statue is holding an implement of Christ's Passion, and I just love the detail of their feathered wings.
The Villa Borghese is Rome's most famous park, named after the Borghese family. Powerful, autocratic, sometimes very corrupt, and immensely rich. In the 17th century, they built a villa and gardens close to the heart of the city. The state bought the property in 1901 and turned it into a museum 2 years later.
Cardinal Scipio Borghese was the man who started it all. He built this villa to entertain his friends.
Their Catholic
his massive
cred is pretty bad. You don't say Cardinal Scipio Borghese, you say Scipio Cardinal Borghese.
In jail just so he could get his paws.
The cardinal goes before the last name. I don't know why, but that's just the way they do it.
There are paintings by Caravaggio and stunning sculptures by, yes, Bernini. This is his David preparing to attack Goliath.
This is another Bernini special carved out of a singular piece of marble. A very muscular looking Pluto there, abducting Persephone to take her down to the underworld.
Yeah, you're also not allowed to eat the Pope.
Bernini transforms hard, cold marble into human flesh.
There's probably no specific law against it, but putting the image of the Pope.
Is the finest
like, I know the Pope lollipop just had a little card of the Pope that you pulled off, so you weren't actually eating the Pope.
And Titian. And this is sacred and
But you know, if you did, you know, like the Sonic the Hedgehog ice cream that you get from the ice cream truck, that's like Sonic's head on a stick. You wouldn't want to have one of those if it's like Jesus.
And she's holding the lamp of eternal love.
Because then you would be eating Jesus's head, and that would be sacrilegious.
Out of his hand. But she's actually telling
also, yeah, you're not allowed to eat
stings are nothing
an hour before
is wreaked on our lives.
Or an hour after the Eucharist,
relationship stuff.
Depending on the tradition. Your stomach is supposed to be empty of sinful human food when the body of Christ enters it.
This is the Victor Emmanuel II monument, built about 100 years ago to commemorate Italian unity.
Another 1,000 bits from Jace's book. Thank you, Jace. You know what can make this glorious tour of Italy even better? If this woman was accompanied by a Jack Russell Terrier
Romans
dog
call
who has a
it the
deep love for
typewriter,
classic literature.
Or the wedding cake. It's made with
Wishbone's
this bright
theme
white
song.
marble
Okay.
from Brescia, and it's huge. 500 feet long and 200 feet
That may be
high.
difficult to come up with on the spot, but I will try.
It stands out head and shoulders above the centre of Rome. And you know what?
Let's see.
It's incredibly popular. Every day when it's open, people crawl all over it.
I think it's absolutely fabulous. It's massive, and I can't believe that I'm here looking at it. It's breathtaking. I've never seen anything like this.
It's one of the greatest scenes of Rome.
Kids for Character Choices Count was in broadcast 18.
And we've got nothing that says the history of what you've got here in Rome.
Brilliant. I'll be right back.
Fantastic.
Good to see some soldiers sort of parading around on the flames up there for the unknown soldiers. So yeah, it's quite good.
I really need a break, so I'm refueling at the hottest ice cream parlour in town. Thank you. Fat chocolate and some of that banana. I think I'm about ready to hit the road. You've heard of the saying, all roads lead to Rome. Well, in Rome, they all lead to here. The Piazza Venezia. It's just crossing over. You've got to get a bit passionate about it, because there's 800,000 cars and more mopeds than I've seen in all my life. In the 30s, Benito Mussolini created this whole square for his fascist
Hey, Jess, thank you for the bells and whistles.
from that balcony up there.
Mussolini was the fascist dictator of Italy who joined Hitler in World War II. He saw himself as a Roman emperor and built this road from the Piazza Venezia to the Colosseum for his fascist parades.
I can sort of
It's the
estimate
imperial
how far back in
way,
the tape to
the
go
Via dei Fora Imperiali.
if I check the broadcast.
In the process, he destroyed much of medieval Rome.
The locals believe that the world will last for as long as Rome exists, and Rome will last for as long as the Colosseum is standing. But this thing sure ain't going anywhere. Check this out, solid as a rock. It's actually called tavatine, and it's so heavy that it holds itself together. There's no mortar in here. I think the time's come to have a look inside the Colosseum.
This place was built by Emperor Vespasian, expressly for the purpose of human sacrifice that the Romans then made into a sport. It was an all-seater stadium lined with marble holding over 50,000 spectators. Men, gladiators, fought to the death armed with swords, nets, tridents, and sometimes with just their bare hands. Gladiators were prisoners of war, slaves, and sometimes volunteers. They were trained up and brought here to fight it out against each other, and sometimes against some of the fiercest animals in the empire, like rhinos, elephants, and tigers, in one of the bloodiest spectacles in the history of humanity.
Not all bouts were to the death. The defeated gladiators could appeal to the crowds and the magistrates. If they got a thumbs up, their lives were spared. If they got a thumbs down, hasta la vista, baby, it was all over.
Hasta la vista, baby. What?
Coming from America, it's amazing because old for us is 200 years, whereas here old is thousands of years.
You have to take a minute and just stop and breathe and realize, like, there were people who, lived and built and died, creating these wonderful things. And what's it going to be like 2,000 more years from now?
The only gladiators within a 10-mile radius of this place are these guys who are only fit for tourists. He doesn't really look like Russell, not very Hollywood.
I wish.
Hail Caesar!
I'm having a fun day out, off to see a duck palio, a duck derby, up north in San Miniato
Ducks?
in Tuscany.
Are we getting ducks?
The one thing that Mussolini did get right were the trains. They run on time. And this only cost me $22. I'm going all the way to San Miniato, and it'll take about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we really got to stop being like, there was a silver lining of fascism.
The duck derby is unique in Italy. It's being held in a nearby village this afternoon, so I'm going off to check out the town first.
This looked like any other Italian town, so I walked down the road and found this place. Now that plaque up there tells me in Italian that the Napoleon Bonaparte was raised in this house. There must be something in the water around these parts, because not only was Napoleon around here, but also some bloke called Frederick II.
That's some real early YouTube
built that tower up there.
smash cut. Remember when every YouTube video was edited like that? Just constant cuts to jumping around because people didn't know how to speak on camera? It had some very Nintendo Speaks energy, yeah.
That is about as classic a Tuscan landscape as you'll get anywhere. These beautiful red-roofed houses along the ridges of the valley, and then these sloping olive groves and vineyards. Well worth the hike. I think I've got a bit of room for some more pasta now as well.
I've never understood why English people say pasta. Like, it's Italian. The letter A only has one sound.
Cool and very Italian. Before the duck race, you've got to have a bit of a feed. So they set up this marquee, and I'm having the local speciality, pasta with truffles.
Every year, the village of Balconevici reenacts different high points from the history of the village. They parade down the main street of a house once owned by the lord of the manor.
I say Italian because it's...
Today, in a scene that might have come straight out of The Godfather, they're reenacting a moment when the local farmers came to terms with the lord of the manor. He lost power, they gained it.
But I grew up in Alabama going to Catholic school with Italian-American friends, so, like, that's where I got a lot of my Italian culture. My Italian-American culture was from Alabama Italians.
There must be about 2,000 people here. Happens in every Italian village because the Italians love their history.
Okay, so this is the way it works. It's a relay race. 4 teams, 2 ducks per team. The ducks run down this track.
We do get ducks.
Then
It's a duck race. I promised you ducks. I mean, I didn't, but you assumed I was promising you ducks, and I delivered. I feel like this is zany enough without speeding it up.
This is prize duck. This is like, you know, the Schumacher of the duck world. So 1, 2, and 3 on the podiums. Duck 4 is resisting a bit because he's about to go into a fine Tuscan stew.
Oh my god. They have a podium for the top 3 placers, and if you get in 4th place, you get killed and cooked.
Today is Dolce Vita Day. I've spent all my money on this 4-star hotel overlooking St. Peter's, and I intend to spoil myself rotten.
Shut up or your face!
I've got lunch with a film
Quit screaming in the street.
Market in Rome, but first, I'm off to
Damn tourists.
In Roman times, one of the most sacred places in the city was the magnificent Pantheon, a temple to all the gods. It was turned into a church by the Christians, which ensured its survival.
Why is she speaking to a camera that's like 600 feet away on a rooftop?
Through the empire, many
What is this
pagan
shot?
temples were destroyed. But those converted into churches were saved. At first, the Pantheon looked so odd, like it's stuck in a ditch, until you remember it was built on level ground. And the height of the land all around it shows how much rubble has raised Rome over the centuries. Started by Marcus Agrippa over 2,000 years ago, the Emperor Hadrian finished it 150 years later.
It's really funny when you
The dome here
think
is
about,
quite
you know,
formidable.
people complaining about how the kids these days abbreviate and don't even write out full words. And then you look at like old Roman inscriptions on giant monumental buildings that cost the equivalent of hundreds of millions of dollars to build.
Around the dome
And they're just like,
represent the gods.
yeah, L. We don't need to write the whole word. We'll just write a single letter L.
It's still a church and a very special place, the burial site of one of Italy's greatest painters, Raphael.
Sepulcrum Raffaele Sancti.
About a 10-minute walk away is one of the most picturesque markets in Rome, the Campo de' Fiori.
Campo de' Fiori is such a pretty place. It means field of flowers, and I'm buying a bunch for a very special guest today. Ciao! Ciao!
My guest knows all about Fellini, the late great movie director who transformed the way we see Rome.
Bella. Grazie. Thank you. Smell pretty nice too. Bye. Bye. Beatrice.
Oh, yes.
For you.
Oh, it's the first time in my life they give me some role.
Really?
Like an old actress.
No!
An old diva. Thank you.
Beatrice Palm, the Italian movie star, knows all about La Dolce Vita and Fellini. He was to Italian film what Michelangelo was to Italian sculpture in his day, a must.
So Beatrice, you were actually one of the first Fellini girls. How did you first meet him?
I was very young and he chose me because I was in the middle of a scene and he said, who can do that? And I was the only said, oh, I can do it. And all the women around looked at me like a witch.
Really?
And he said, okay, you can do it, you can do it.
He really loved Rome, didn't he?
Yeah, Fellini loved Rome. He
Thank you, Jess. Yeah, I think we'll be able to get that rewinding
Rome with other eyes
while we watch Bells and Whistles.
It was as though Fellini used Rome as a
I was scrolling through the VOD on this to see
a fabulous backdrop for his characters,
where that was, and there are a lot of good musical numbers that we didn't grab from this.
What was the typical Fellini
So
woman?
I'm it's a little bit of effort to go back and get the Wishbone theme, but that means we can.
It's the exasperation.
I'm happy to do it.
Big, tall, big breast. The women was a dream. No?
For him, it was a dream.
I really want to watch Bicycle Thieves. That's on my list of movies I really want to watch. I saw Rome Open City by Roberto Rossellini. It's like
he likes many types.
One of the
Fellini saw women as mothers.
Seminal neo-realist Italian films,
hats,
and I really liked it. And I just went looking for what are other
Fellini
similar
saw
films.
women as passion.
Are they trying to make a Fellini?
The type of women who can maybe eat a man.
She could even eat the Pope.
Fellini saw women as sex.
Fellini may have seen Rome and its people as a fantasy, but for any traveller to Rome, well, it's for real.
The legend goes that if you throw a coin into the Trevi Fountain, you're sure to come back to Rome, a city where every corner you turn is the vision of a genius. From the Pantheon to the Colosseum to Bernini's sculptures, I'll definitely be back. Woo!
Yay. That, by the way, is the literal transcription of that inscription on the Pantheon. It translates to mean that Marcus Agrippa, son of Lucius, built this when he was a consul for the 3rd time. So the M stands for Marcus. Marcus Agrippa. LF just means, I guess, Lucius Filium, like son of Lucius.
Funding for this program is provided by Subaru.
Ooh, another Subaru commercial.
Oh yeah, like a vehicle without all-wheel drive was going to sponsor this show. Subaru, proud and logical sponsor of Globetrekker.
You can find out more about this series
Keyword.
on our website. Keyword Globetrekker.
Internet keywords.
Programs from the Globetrekker series are available on video cassette. And selected titles with extra features on DVD.
Why don't we have
Music
keywords
from
anymore?
the series is available on 2 CDs.
Oh my God, you can buy the
You can also order
CDs.
the companion book, Great Festivals of the World, which features celebrations that appear in the series. To order Globetrekker products, call 888-565-0361 or visit
Weta?
www.globetrekkertv.com.
Did Weta work on these? The visual effects studio from... Oh. No, WET. Okay. I was confused for a second. A coworker at my last job had worked at Weta previously. Weta did like the visual effects for Lord of the Rings, so I was like, oh my God, this is a Weta tape. But no, it's WETA. Some good logos there. All right. This has been the City Guide to Rome from Pilot Guides, Globetrekker TV. That was, yeah, there was no Rick Steves. I enjoyed it. Oh yeah, the thing came off. There are some tapes that are bad and just unpleasant to watch. There are some tapes that are bad and still enjoyable to watch, and this was the latter for me. Let's see if I can just cram this back together for now to protect the tape. And just shove it in here. There we go. All right. So we have a couple of songs, one of which is on this tape, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in the VCR, get that rewinding. And in the meantime, we will watch, courtesy of Seemingly Jess,
kids to make good choices.
We will watch more Bells and Whistles. So let's see, how long was Kids for Character? That'll tell me how far I need to rewind on this. Choices count is a 60-minute tape, so if I go back to like negative 25, we'll be good. And in the meantime, here we go with more Bells and Whistles. What's happening? Oh no, wait, this is rewound, I think. Whoops. Okay, it was already at the beginning. So I need to go forward 35 minutes. That is a Mother 3 guitar. I love it. All right, we have a little bit of time before this tape gets fully rewound. So here is a gallery of random things. Sly the Fox was really a standout tape. Like, it was very unique in its production.
That was a good insemination today.
这是很成功的一次人
这
工受
是什么货
孕。
子的好？
Hey, Blinky, how'd you like to help me out?
It's a cold night to be out doing crimes like this again, but I gotta make a living. Let's have a look in there.
Yes, you've seen it in magazines, you've read it in the newspapers. In fact, perhaps you've even seen the owner's picture. Ralph Williams, the owner of Bayshore Chrysler Plymouth, 345 El Camino Real in the city of San Bruno. You notice the big bald-headed son of a bitch? The man that came to San Francisco to offer them more for the dollar they spend. The man that came to San Francisco to rape each and every citizen in the whole San Francisco Bay Area. You don't believe it? Listen to me. I don't lie. Take a fucking car like this. A 1966 Ford, a Country Squire 9-pack.
Take a fucking car like
Don't
this.
worry about the equipment. Imagine all the fun you could have in the back. And while you're doing it, imagine all the money that bald-headed prick Ralph Williams is going to be making on the car he's trying to fuck you out of.
The
Yes,
anime
the man
that
that'll
was
take every
Noozles, the
dime
koala
out of the San
show.
Francisco Bay Area and spend it on prostitutes, booze, and of course crap tables in the city of Las Vegas. I'm sure you've heard about it. So remember this: if you'd like to get fucked and hooked real hard before you buy a car, come down here. Let Ralph Williams do it. Why not? Why not somebody else? Remember, our address is 345 El Camino Real in the city of San Bruno. But if you come from Marin County, East Bay Area, or San Jose, your money spends just as well as anybody else's. And when this bald-headed son of a bitch gets hold of you, you will spend money. Talking about payments, 5 years payments of $100 a month. You can't get even. So shop before you buy. Bayshore Chrysler Plymouth.
Side of the county line. Here, let's shake hands and be friends. Fair enough?
Sure, Tom. It'll be a pleasure
For 20 years on account of anything these miserable kids is gonna say. I'm warning you. I'll get Tom
We're working our way
Sawyer
to
off
a
the
Wishbone intro, but after that, we're gonna watch Tom Sawyer. But it's only 24 minutes, so it has to be good.
Yes, you are slow.
Huh? Well, that's lucky for you.
We have not done the Olympics tape. We'll probably do that next stream.
No woodpecker's going to outsmart me. What? I knew I should have stayed in bed today.
By his appetite. No, not even flowers would do.
One measly worm fills your appetite while I'm still starving.
All right, here we go. Maybe. We still have to find it. Recycling.
Wow! That guy looked really silly running around like that.
He sure did, but he was just listening to his conscience.
Conscience? Oh yeah! I remember that from watching Wishbone.
All right, let's back up to the Uwu babies.
Conscience? Oh yeah! I remember that from watching Wishbone.
What's the story, Wishbone? What's this you're dreaming of? Such big imagination.
story from above.
Yeah, you can thank Jace for this.
Shake a leg now, Wishbone. Let's wag another tail. Sniffing out adventure with Wishbone on the trail. Come on, Wishbone.
Oh, little dog.
What's the story, Wishbone? What's the story, Wishbone? What's the story, Wishbone? What's the story, Wishbone?
Good thing! Ooh, oatmeal cookies are my 10th favorite. And my 11th favorite. Anyway, I love them.
Make sure you don't give a dog cookies with either chocolate or raisins, which oatmeal cookies usually traditionally have. Yay. That was Wishbone. I have successfully grabbed that clip, so I really need to go through old video files and get them all processed and officially on the list, but we now have Wishbone in the collection. Following that segment on Kids for Character Choices Count, following that Wishbone intro was a bullshit Wishbone segment that didn't even have Wishbone doing anything. It was just the humans talking. Didn't even put the dog in a costume. Oh, the Six Pillar Shuffle, yes. I think the Six Pillar Shuffle is before the Wishbone, so if we rewind a little bit, we can grab Six Pillar Shuffle at some point. But for right now, schwa! It is time for StarMaker's Tom Sawyer. And 100 bits from Will Peters. I found out the context to why Wishbone was in a different family in this. The normal family he lives with were going away. Okay. I like that they found a way to retcon it. Tom Sawyer. We have watched the 50-minute Golden Grams Classic Book Videos Tom Sawyer cartoon. We are now going to watch the mercifully shorter StarMaker Tom Sawyer. 24 minutes. We can compare and contrast. We can figure out which one we like better. Mark Twain's classic about a mischievous boy's adventures growing up along the Mississippi. Tom and his friend Huckleberry are always getting into trouble. One day they're out exploring when they find a huge cave. Before you know it, they're lost in thousands of tunnels that lead nowhere. That's going to be fun. Let's watch it. If you were here for the last Tom Sawyer, raise your hand. I want to know what you think of this one. The Six Pillar Shuffle. All right, Green Day, we're going to do it. Hell yeah. All right. Thank you. That's one that we really desperately need to get into the collection. So as soon as we are done with Tom Sawyer, we will Six Pillar Shuffle. I'll make sure I know where that is on the tape. There's also the song at the beginning with like Purple Shirt Kid that's really surprisingly good. Okay, yeah, the Six Pillar Shuffle is before Wishbone.
Tom Sawyer, do you mean to tell me you sweet-talked and traded your way out of paying that whole...
Oh my god, look at that walk cycle on the dog.
It's just all a matter of using your brain and letting others use their muscles. You are a smart one, Tom.
We don't even get the fence scene. The fence scene happens off camera in this one.
I say it'd be bully if right now we went exploring in McDougal's cave. Well, you know we're not ever supposed to go near that cave, Tom. Now I'm afeared. You need never be afeared when young Tom Sawyer is near.
I already like this one better because it's shorter. It has super low budget animation. They're using the Mark Twain like... Oh, it is Rankin Bass.
Present Festival of Family Classics.
What do I know Rankin Bass from? It's very familiar to me, having grown up watching Rocky and Bullwinkle. Rudolph, okay. Yeah, oh, that's right, the Christmas specials. Oh my god.
All of the tales that you know so well, features and fables will...
Sorry, this seems like a great song and a great animated sequence. I do wonder if this is really dropping us in the middle and then abruptly cutting out to an intro. I really feel like this is chopped down from a much longer production.
Of family classics.
I'm recording this. I can't not record this.
All of the tales that you know so well, features and fables will story tell. Each classic creation in new animation, today's presentation will be.
From Mark Twain's tale of boyhood on the Mississippi, the adventures of Tom Sawyer.
So bring on the whole family.
Okay, this seems like
Tell us about Tom Sawyer.
way more fun and historically significant in animation history than the other one.
Well, Tom and Huck and Becky were three kids pretty much like you three. And their adventures
It's
all
cartoon
took
Mark
place
Twain.
in a little town called Hannibal, Missouri. Hannibal was a Mississippi River town quite a bit like this one. That was back in about 1840.
Hey, Will, thank you.
Of course, in those days, there was no television.
We got 1,000 bits from Will for the Doodly Doo Sweet Stripping song.
So during
Love that
era,
song.
children went swimming and fishing, and they traded marbles and other prized possessions. Of course, they had to work, too. Had certain chores they were supposed to attend to. Now, it seems that one of Tom Sawyer's chores, one particular day, was whitewashing the fence in front of his house.
Oh, okay.
If you think Tom was going to do all that
So that was a classic, I guess, in media res intro, 60s cartoon intro.
Now you get that fence painted all bright and fresh, Tom. And don't you be wandering off anywhere else till you're finished.
Yes, ma'am, Aunt Polly.
I always found that so confusing as a child. Like how every episode of the Flintstones opened with like the exciting thing that happens later in the episode, and then it cuts back to the beginning.
Stump, ain't ya? Too bad you gotta work, Tom. What do you call work? Ain't that work?
But I like that they're using the lingo, but they're not attempting
Tom Sawyer. Does a boy get to
1800s Missouri accents.
every day? Say, Tom, let me try it a little, will ya? No, I reckon it wouldn't do. You see, my Aunt Polly's awful particular about how this fence is done. Oh, come on, Tom. Only just try. Only just a little. Listen, I'd like to let you. Honest, I would. I'll give you my other apple, Tom. Well, all right. I'll let you try it. But I'll be watching you. Watching you real careful.
The whitewashing scene was Adventures from the Book of Virtues, right? I think it was in the work one, yeah.
I'll give you tin soldier, a couple of tadpoles, and 6 firecrackers. Well, I reckon
That was the tape that had the song about how you should work.
few minutes when
You should work harder for the man. That sadly
Why, Tom
we can't play because
Sawyer, to tell me you sweet-talked and traded
Adventures from the Book of Virtues is like super hardcore. Any use of it immediately blocks the VOD worldwide.
using your brain and letting others use their muscles.
You are a smart one, Tom.
There's Huck Finn. Hi, Huck.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Becky. Where are you off to?
I say it'd be bully if right now we went exploring in McDougal's cave.
Well, you know we're not ever supposed to go near that cave, Tom. Now I'm afeared.
You need never be afeared when young Tom Sawyer is neared. Oh.
Oh, Tom, do you really think we should?
I also like it when I love when the packaging of the tape has absolutely no stylistic connection to the material on the tape.
Who's
Like,
got matches?
this is not the art style of this tape.
Really? Can't seem to find them.
Oh, what was that? It was a bat.
A bat? Oh, don't worry. They got special way of just missing things, them bats. Here they are.
Matches?
At your service.
Okay, let's go.
I'm not going with you two lovebirds. I'll go this other way, and we'll all meet back here.
Was Polly
Agreed.
hanging out with them in the caves in the original story, or did they
Tom, we've taken so
change it for
many
the cartoon.
passages. I don't
Also, the
even
dog. I love the
walk
dog
anymore.
so much.
Fret now.
He's such a derpy dog.
What's this, Becky? What am I, Becky?
Anti-gravity Tom Sawyer.
Stalactite.
Stalactite.
Tom, you're swell.
Hey, here's another passage. Let's follow it.
Don't you remember how to get back either?
Thought I did, but...
Oh, Tom, I'm getting a little worried.
Aw.
I'm sorry. I want to just clip that dog real quick. I love that little thing he's doing. Morning, Joshy D.
Gate.
We're having a great time this morning. How about you?
You're swell.
Hey, here's another passage. Let's follow it.
Don't you remember how to get back either?
Thought I did, but...
Oh, Tom, I'm getting a little worried.
Aw, now, there's nothing to be worried about. Huck! Huck Finn! Hey.
You missed the home haircut tape,
Hear
Josh.
that? Sure, a lot of people
The
want
Oster
Huck
Trimmer
Finn.
Great Looks video.
Where are those?
I'm sorry you weren't here for that. Then
Supposed to be
we're
here
on to
by
Tom
now.
Sawyer now.
Tom Sawyer!
They were just raw dogging it. No vacuum cleaner hose. Just the clippers. There are a lot of it's from 1995. There are a lot of good shots of like a kid with his mom cutting his hair, and you can tell from the kid's face that he's
find our way
not
back,
that
Becky.
excited about it.
I know we will. And anyway, Shag'll help us. He's got good eyes.
Oh, Shag.
Come on, let's head this way. I think this may be the right tunnel. Huck Finn!
Oh, it's no use, Tom. We're probably getting farther away if the truth was known.
We should have made marks on the walls.
Or we should have brought kite string with us and pulled it along behind.
What is it, Shag? Becky, look. Looky here. Footprints, see? And they're here and they're going that way.
The walk cycle is
They crouch
super
real low
janky and
try and
adorable. Like I love that his legs, his front legs go up like to his head.
Flame candles are nearly useless.
Tom, how long have we been in here?
Oh, wiggle butt! Look at cute little wiggle butt.
Maybe 4, I guess.
That's long. Oh, Tom, I thought we were done for. Do you suppose somebody threw that at us?
No.
Tom, our candles, we haven't got them.
We dropped them all right.
But we can't see anything now.
Wouldn't do no good even if we found them. No matches.
What should we do then?
Keep moving the way we was. Hope we pick up some light from somewhere that we can follow.
Yes, continue further into the dark
They were
cave.
supposed to meet me back
The
there
best
again
survival
in 1
strategy.
hour, but they never showed.
Huck Finn, I swear. Ain't no use in scolding now, Everett. Let's get a search party formed and hightail it up there.
I sure am hungry, Tom. Tom, can you see anything at all?
I love how in these walk cycles, you can tell that they're redrawing the entire body of the character for each frame, but not moving the upper body at all. There's no secondary motion, no bob. It's just the legs going. Dirt, dirt,
going,
dirt, dirt, dirt.
Okay, just want to empty my pockets of all this heavy stuff I got off of those guys before. It's starting to weigh me down. What is it, Shag? Just drop it here.
The animation reminds me of like King's Quest V,
I heard it all right.
like a VGA DOS game.
Let's back up, Tom. Yeah, back up it is. Come on, Shag. It's a precipice. Must drop 100 feet, I guess.
I really have always wanted to play
We're safe.
every King's Quest game
Hey, look, another passage.
on Twitch.
And there seems to be a little more light coming down it.
I mean, at least the first 6.
It It's getting lighter up ahead, Becky.
I had one of the first PC games I ever had was King's Quest 3.
Something's up ahead there.
As like
You
a
better
little
wait
kid.
here while I have a look.
I spent years playing that game and never got out of like the house at the beginning because it was just so incomprehensible. We got it from the library on floppy disk.
What was that?
Oh, we had Maniac Mansion 2. Man, Maniac... Actually, even before King's Quest, we had Zack McCracken.
Sure enough. Have you ever seen so much gold, Jack?
Which was like... it's very similar to Maniac Mansion.
I'm sure I heard something.
And I don't think I have it anymore, but I had a full, like, original box copy of Maniac Mansion, the VGA version for DOS. On 5 1/4-inch floppies.
What is it, Tom? What did you see? Hurry, let's head this other
Or
way.
I think it came on both.
What did you see,
It was during that era where DOS games would come on
Evil fella Joe. He was burying
both formats.
treasure of gold coins.
So no matter what kind of disk drive you had, you could install the game.
Tom, we got enough troubles as it is. Oh, get away, bat! Oh, Tom, won't you kill that flame bat? Oh, goodness, Tom, I just don't think I can go another step. I'm so awful tired.
Okay, we'll stop here and try to get a little sleep. Lie down, Shag.
That's 2 days, and I'll bet we ain't covered more than 20% of that cave.
We just have to get started earlier tomorrow, that's all.
It would be easier to find the children if they weren't just randomly walking in circles further into the cave.
Hello? Hello, Huck Finn?
Wait, yeah, what? Did they say they'll try again in 2 days? Tomorrow's Sunday. It wouldn't do to be working on the Lord's Day.
Bark, Shag. Bark real loud. Tom.
Sierra,
How long?
I always played Sierra games on DOS.
2, maybe 3 days now.
The PC never really had cassette drives.
Tired, aren't you? Yes.
I don't know if did they make.
Shag is too. I bet you're awful hungry.
I don't think there were like Commodore releases of King's
Will
Quest.
you catch a bat for me, Tom? We'll get out soon, Beck.
Because King's Quest 1 was like exclusive for the IBM PC Junior.
Searchers come back yet, Huck?
Yeah, they did. Didn't find them today, neither. That's 3 days.
I hear they'll be declaring them officially dead if they don't find them tomorrow.
Officially dead.
But like I was saying, Tom weren't really bad, only mischievous. Only just giddy and sort of harum-scarum. He never meant any harm, and he was the best-hearted boy that ever was.
The issue with King's Quest, like playing King's Quest on stream, is that I would absolutely need to use a walkthrough.
So sweet and well.
Which is a different experience than playing them straight.
Surely she would have growed up to heap credit on the thatch.
But it's also like impossible to beat them without a walkthrough, in my experience.
Place she ever went.
Hey, do you feel that?
What, Tom?
Do you feel it?
Yeah. It's like a breeze.
Come on, we gotta climb up there.
King's Quest 3, I remember, is incredibly convoluted. Because you start out, you're trapped in a wizard's house, and you're only able to leave the wizard's house when he like leaves. He'll be like, "I'm leaving on a journey," but that happens randomly.
Tom.
And
But first,
if he comes back and you're still gone, he will kill you and you lose.
Going back in there, are you?
Not all together.
And if you don't do all the stuff away from the house that you need to do in the limited time that you have, he'll come back and just be like, "All right, I don't trust you anymore. I'm going to kill you," and you lose.
The marbles out of me. Wait, listen.
Organ music.
Coming from the church. Come on.
And then you have to kill the wizard, but you have to turn him into a cat.
Deepest respects to our dearly
But you have to prepare all the spells you need to like kill the wizard.
departed and beloved Tom.
And you have limited time to do that, and it's integrated with the copy protection, so you need the manual to the game to tell you exactly what the spells are and stuff.
All the nobler aspects of humankind.
Tom, We should tell. He's delivering a doology. How many times in your life do you get to listen to your own doology?
But it's not nice to keep them thinking that we're...
Just let me hear
Doology.
a little more, okay?
And Tom Sawyer, a boy who had some faults to be sure, but somehow those faults were endearing faults, like his being late, always late, getting everywhere he was supposed to go.
Even late getting to his own funeral.
Even late getting to his own.
Boy, Tom, you sure gave me and Tathers a jolt's worth when you two come into that church.
Huck, listen. There's a treasure buried in that cave. When me and Becky was in there, I saw that evil desperado Joe burying this treasure in the cave.
Did he see you, Tom?
This is far more compressed than the hour-long one we watched before, and I appreciate
I
that.
got out by a secret exit, and that's
I don't think we need a comprehensive adaptation of Tom Sawyer to make a serviceable cartoon.
I say let's do it. And I'll meet you at midnight sharp. Yeah. Where? Harper's Landing?
Bluff, just above it. Right over there. Right next to that rock, that's where it's buried.
Oh, you didn't bring the
I'll
dog.
follow you.
Wait, Huck. He ain't coming after us. He ain't coming after no one. Not ever again.
He's actually
What do you
dead.
mean?
He's a goner, Huck. Dead as a tree stump.
You sure?
Sure as anything.
Wait.
He's dead, all right.
They find a corpse in the cave.
Came back and then got trapped when they sealed up the cave.
We're overlooking something. His ghost is surely guarding this treasure.
You think?
Of course. Whenever someone dies, their ghost comes right to life, just like that.
What do you think he'll do?
Maybe wait till we got the money dug up and...
We should cut off his head with this shovel and bury it so he can't haunt us.
A whole lot of money.
Goats gotta live too, and it costs money to live.
We should drive a stake through his heart.
Even like to live well.
Well, you may be plumb right, Huck, but it still stands like before.
Cut his head off, stuff his mouth full of garlic.
I'm not turning back. You with me?
Huckleberry Finn ain't got no shoes.
What did I tell you, old Huck? Got it at last. Feast your poppin' eyes on that.
My, but we're rich.
Meanwhile, the corpse is just chilling there.
Get it, and we got it sure. We'll hide the money in the widow's woodshed. Then we'll come up in the morning, and we'll count it and divide it.
Just like you say, Tom.
Then, a little while later, we'll tell.
Just stuff his mouth full of jarred garlic from the grocery store.
Huh? You bet your
Pre-minced.
boots, Hucky. You
Packed in
bet
oil
your
garlic.
grimy old boots.
Afternoon, Mr. Sawyer. Mr. Finn.
Did you hear that? Hear what he called us?
Reckon that's just a fitting way to address a pair of country gentlemen.
Mr. Sawyer? Mr. Thomas Sawyer?
Hello there, Miss Thatcher. Fine day it is.
As soon as you buy a suit, you become respectable.
Dandy.
Tom and me got
That's how it used to
trust
work.
funds.
In the bank? You got accounts in the bank?
We'll soon be drawing interest. Enough each week to keep us knee-deep in candy and sodas forever.
Well, Molly and me, we sure would be proud to have a soda with you two.
Well, perhaps some other time. You see, Huck and me, we must be shortly attending a tea that Aunt Polly's given in our honor. Huck, remember, you gotta use fancy language. The King's English when you're a rich gentleman attending a tea party.
I'm trying, Tom. I just slip sometimes. 'Cause it don't come natural.
It doesn't come natural.
Not for you neither?
Not for me either.
Good.
Apparently soda fountains started popping up in the 1819.
Are you enjoying the tea, Mrs. Wimple?
Oh, indeed, Thomas. Teas are glorious.
Thomas has become a fine conversationalist, hasn't he, Mrs. Wimple?
Yes. Oh, yes, indeed. And such a gentleman, too.
Why, look at Thomas and Huckleberry. They've become quite refined.
Yes.
Stepping backwards while sipping her tea.
And such nice manners, too. Why, they never turn their backs on anyone.
Huck, it's been 9 days now of this country gentleman stuff.
Seemed like 9 years.
If I gotta go to one more tea or put my neck into one more starched collar, I think I'll get crazy.
It ain't us, Tom. It just ain't us.
Not at all the fun we figured, neither.
Sure ain't. We ain't had no real fun in 9 days.
I say let's take off on the raft and go upriver for a few days, just like old times.
You got the nerve? Tom, we're supposed to be at that tea tomorrow, one Mrs. Thatcher's giving at the town hall tea room.
I figure we'll be there.
Well, my 2 guests of honor are already here. Good heavens!
What is it, Helen?
See for yourself.
Say, whatever happened to those 2 country gentlemen named Thomas Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn?
Them? Why, they died quite recently. But I believe you'll find them stuffed in the town hall tea room.
Oh, God, what's happening to that raft? Rankin and Bass. Yeah, that raft, their logs came unlashed shortly downriver and they drowned. This has been, courtesy of StarMaker Video, Tom Sawyer. Animated by Mushi Studios. Mushi Productions is a Japanese animation studio headquartered in Fujimidai, Nerima, Tokyo, Japan. It was headed by Osamu Tezuka. That was produced by the Astro Boy guys' studio. Wow. I'm sorry, was there a good logo in there? I want the Rankin and Bass. Oh, come on, tracking. We've already seen this, but it's super cool. All right, and at 24 minutes exactly, that is Tom Sawyer from StarMaker. I'm going to pop Choices Count back into the VCR so we can get rewinding to our next song, which is going to be the 6 Pillar Shuffle. It's been quite a while since we've seen that. We can capture it for posterity this time. And in the meantime, we're going to enjoy the Street Sweeper song that Will Peters requested. Thank you, Will Peters, for your support. Street Sweeper song with Dusty the Street Sweeper from Mighty Machines. Indeed, get your doodly-doos ready.
There's leaves and trash and paper and cash, they left it all in the gutter. So along comes Dusty a-singing this song with a chuckle, a snort, and a mutter. Oh, doodly, 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 doo, I'm keeping the street so clean. I'm scrubbing and scraping, I'm pavement landscaping, I'm buffing this place to a sheen. Now just to remember, January to December, I'm Dusty the street sweeping gal. My brushes are metal. I'm in fine fettle with Mac, my big city pal. Oh, doodly 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 doo. I'm keeping the streets so clean. I'm scrubbing and scraping. I'm pavement landscaping. I'm buffing this place to a sheen.
Yay. Thank you again, Will.
Hand on the seat back, and using the other hand to move the seat to the desired position.
$4, $4.67.
Okay, I'm closing in on the start of the six-pillar shuffle.
69. That'll just about do her. I have to mail this.
That's what I wanna be when I grow up to be a man. Woman!
That's one on their noses.
Times have changed, I guess.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. What's for dinner?
Dinner.
Oh. That was all I had in there.
Let's do a dance. Everybody on your feet. Come on up.
All right. We found it, though. We found it. I'm just going to get a little bit of his lecture/intro.
Big breath, and you say to yourself, am I being trustworthy, respectful, responsible, caring, fair, and am I being a good citizen? And if the answer is yes, then you know you've made the right choice. Hey, I've got an idea. Let's do a dance. Everybody on your feet. Come on up. It's called the Six-Pillar Shuffle.
We have pillars 1 through 6. We like to dance and do some tricks. Follow along and you will see how fun the Six-Pillar Shuffle can be. The Six-Pillar Shuffle goes like this. Twist is for trustworthiness. Roll is for respect. We're gonna reach up for responsibility. Then we blow a kiss for caring. Flap your arms for fairness.
Yeah, Joe Scruggs.
The Six-Pillar Shuffle is a kick. We think you know the way it goes, 'cause you're doing oh so fine. Now make it big, yes, do it proud, 'cause it's Six-Pillar Shuffle time. The Six-Pillar Shuffle.
Apparently Joe Scruggs was on Letterman at one point.
This. Whoa, twist is for trustworthiness. Roll is for respect. We're gonna reach up for responsibility. Blow a kiss for caring. Flap your arms for fairness. Stomp your feet for citizenship. The Six-Pillar Shuffle is a kick.
Stomp your feet like a toddler and demand good citizenship.
Let's see how fast you can move.
Flap your arms for fairness, because that's
already set now.
That's the
Shuffle
thing.
your feet. The Six-Pillar Shuffle goes like this. Twist is for trustworthiness. Roll is for respect. We're gonna reach up for responsibility. Then we blow a kiss for caring. Flap your arms for fairness. Stomp your feet for citizenship. I said the Six-Pillar Shuffle is a kick. Do it again, even faster. The Six-Pillar Shuffle goes like this. Trustworthiness.
Oh, I love this ghost. It's a little asymmetrical, but I'll allow it.
Caring. Fairness. Citizenship. The Six-Pillar Shuffle is a kick. All right, now one more time. The Six-Pillar Shuffle goes like this. Trustworthiness. Respect. Responsibility. Caring. Fairness. Citizenship. The Six-Pillar Shuffle is a kick. I said the Six-Pillar Shuffle is a kick. I said the Six-Pillar Shuffle is a kick. Yeah.
God, the audio on this tape is peaking.
Get ready to duck, quick, cause round 2 of What Should You Do?
Nope. All right. That was the 6-Pillar Shuffle. Now officially well, unofficially. I still have to deal with editing and putting it on the list, but officially recorded. I am planning to end this around 1, so we got just a little bit of time left, and I think I'm going to bring us a little more opera from Meet the Met. I forget exactly where we were in this tape, but we'll see what's next on it. I believe next stream, whenever that might be, either Saturday or next Monday, depending on whether I take a day off, we will try and watch the Olympics tape. Thank you very much, all of you, for being here today. And let's see what other sort of operatic numbers we got here. So this is Otello from Giuseppe Verdi.
Quasi segnale che annuncia l'approdo della torreve veneziana. Ascolta.
Let me just give you some context real quick. From Act 3 of Otello, Iago has succeeded in guiding the conversation so that Othello's certainty of Desdemona's falsity is strengthened by mention of the handkerchief. His perception is too clouded to notice that Cassio has no idea of how he came into possession of it, the handkerchief. Queste il segnale como lo uccidero. With this final proof, the deaths of Desdemona and Cassio are settled, while the sound of fanfares and shouts of "Vivat!" outside the castle announce that the Venetian emissary has landed. Iago advises the Moor to strangle Desdemona in her bed, the place of her offense, and volunteers to take care of Cassio himself. Othello promotes his ensign to captain. So they're trying to murder a woman under false pretenses, I think.
Per questa notte al suo carro la soletto via pecca questa giustizia tua mi piace.
Did you mean Asiago?
Iago pindora io capitano chiedo se che la severendo. Ecco gli ambasciatori, gli accogliete. Ad evitar sospetti, Desdemona si mostra coi messeri, qui da pochi.
This is the Met. So the costuming, the set design, the production value is off the chain. Oh. Viva, viva, viva il leon de San Marco. Eccolo, è lui. In the great hall of the castle, Lodovico, at the head of his delegation, presents the Doge's letters. He is displeased when he observes the absence of Cassio and the evident agitation of Othello. Cassio is sent for. Othello discloses the commands of the Senate. He himself is to return forthwith to Venice, and Cassio is to succeed him in Cyprus immediately. Have they already killed Cassio at this point? Is that the drama? Everyone is amazed at these orders. Othello takes Cassio's formal restraint and Desdemona's sorrow as signs of distress at the prospect of parting. In a rage, he hurls his wife to the floor.
Iago, quali nuove? Ma in mezzo a voi non trovo Cassio. O lui cruciato Otello.
So apparently Othello thinks that his wife Desdemona has cheated on him with Cassio, and Iago is trying to manipulate him into thinking this is the case, but apparently it's not.
Che dunque ne lampano cuochi
Excellent. I would love to open the P.O. box, but there is a very real physical constraint in terms of just, and time constraint in terms of how many tapes I can have realistically. So, it would be easier, I think, if we were able to do, smaller, more selective contributions of tapes. And maybe that could be more of a collaborative process where people are like, hey, I've got these tapes. And everyone is excited about seeing, this small handful of tapes, and so we can send those in, as opposed to just giant boxes. I have to start being a little more selective. So, short answer, I'm still trying to figure out how to do that, and it's just, as much as I want to just open the floodgates again. It really only makes sense to start accepting them little by little. Yeah, that's the thing, right? People are being very generous in sending in tapes on their own dime. And so, just sending 5 or 10 tapes here and there is going to be more of a financial burden than sending a bunch. And so I don't want to make things harder on the people who are sending in tapes. We could do something like that, yeah. It's also gotten to the point where there are so many tapes that like I need to like categorize them a little better. It just gets more and more unmanageable when it's just like a giant pile of tapes. If I had them like, sorted differently, it would be easier to be like, all right, we have, for example, we have like 20 train tapes in the backlog or 20 National Geographic tapes. So we don't really need any more of those right now. But other kinds of tapes are great. That sort of selectiveness is something that I think would help. So I'm not that familiar with this story, but Othello is the governor of Cyprus, and he's appointed Cassio to have some position of power, and Iago wanted that position, so he's pissed about it. So Iago is like trying to create shit between Othello and his wife Desdemona. So he's framed Cassio. He's convinced Othello that Cassio had an affair with his wife and they both need to be killed. But then there's other drama happening. So it says at the point where we hear in the music, "A terra, si, nel livido fango." Desdemona's distress arouses perplexity and pity. Emilia and Lodovico go to help her rise. Roderigo, whose dream of winning Desdemona is fast vanishing, and Iago, whose scheme is threatened with disruption, must act quickly. Iago has no difficulty in inciting Roderigo to murder Cassio without delay. I think that's about to happen. Yeah, okay, so Iago is just being a little bitch and inciting drama between all these people. Being real catty. I do love how elaborate this scene is. It's like the royal hall where everyone is just standing facing one direction and all singing entirely different songs. So at this point, Ciel, tutti fuggite Otello. Othello curses Desdemona. His abuse drives everyone out of the hall. Overcome by emotion, he falls to the ground unconscious. While the crowd outside the castle continues to cheer the Lion of St. Mark's, Iago exults over his downfall.
Sangue! Ah! È la vita pensiero! Giovacora! Veder l'incinamenti! Il fazzoletto! Il fazzoletto! Il fazzoletto!
That was a pretty convincing fall. Oh, I have not seen the Kenneth Branagh version. The Kenneth Branagh version of Hamlet is one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, his Hamlet is unabridged. It's, what, like 4 hours long? The soundtrack is amazing. And I just love everything about that movie. I got a haircut. Yes, go up. Look at that fancy curtain. Like, think of how much those costumes cost. Think of how much that curtain cost. It's amazing, really. So we will end it here. Next time we venture back into the Meet the Met Operaland, we will see a scene from The Barber of Seville. But until then, I will bid you adieu as we get ready to raid our friend Stephen George, who I think it looks like he is playing Subnautica today. Here's your chance to get in on the ground floor of new content. I hope you'll consider it. Meet the Met. This is our new Gaither tape. It's better than the Gaither Gospel tapes in a number of ways. So this is going to be it for today. Let's just quickly review what we've learned. Here in Broadcast 92. We learned how to cut hair with Oster. We learned that it's pronounced Oster. We got a few minutes of Deepak Chopra. If you have a life-threatening illness, go to the doctor. That's my advice to you. We didn't really learn anything about Rome. We just vibed with a lady having fun in Rome, and that was perfectly fine for me. We learned what not to do to the Pope. We got some good Rankin and Bass Tom Sawyer. A Tom Sawyer cartoon that did not wear out its welcome. and finally a little more opera. This has been a fun one. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Did you learn anything? Let's get this raid going. Can we get that raid message again? I got a haircut. Yes. Glop. Can you officially have commas in a hashtag? I'm sure you can for the purposes of a raid message. There was a comma between the G and the L. So whatever you're feeling. Don't eat the Pope. Absolutely. It's a little insensitive to eat the Pope. Okay, looks like we're ready to raid. Let's do that. Stream or hiking. Saturday, yeah. I may very well indeed do a stream on Saturday, but I haven't taken a weekend off in a while, and I do sometimes like having just like a normal, like a weekend. So I will leave that up in the air and let you know via Discord what the plan is there. So if we do a stream Saturday, we'll be back here Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Otherwise, it'll be Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern. So until then, folks, thank you all. I will see you next time here on Golden VCR.